All right, welcome back, South Africa. Continuing our conversation with the Finance Minister here on the program. I have to tell you, much excitement here in Cape Town. We are having a very candid discussion with Pravin Gordhan as he... Can I ask you a question, Minister? Sorry, can I ask everyone... Let's be quiet. Okay, we're back on air. This is what happens in ad breaks. There's lots of talking that we all do amongst ourselves. Gordhan or Gordhan?
Take your pick.
No, but help us out. What did your father say the surname was?
Gordhan.
Thank you. Okay, I feel better now.
That's the Gujarati pronunciation.
Gordhan.
Yeah, but it's all anglicized now, you see.
Yeah, so now we call you Gordhan.
But I'm not colonized.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so there's a bit of a roll on the R, Gordhan. There we go. Much better. Thank you, Minister. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're talking about many, many issues here. But one of the issues I think we need to touch on, and I think it's vitally important, as much as we're seeing a lot of the money that's been allocated to old age grants, child support grants, disability grants, and all the other grants, it's the issue of SASSA that is a worry right now. And the fact that the 1st of April, 17 million South Africans may not get that money. Are you concerned? I mean, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, you're going to get a very short answer to that one.
Okay.
That's not our responsibility. It's the responsibility of the Minister of Social Development. And I think she's telling the country that they will be ready to do something or the other from the 1st of April, which might mean resorting to the existing contractor to continue in some form or the other.
All right. Short and sweet, but it is a worry. It certainly is a worry. I'll put those words out.
I didn't say anything about
You didn't
worry.
say anything, but I think a lot of South Africans are worried because I've been seeing a lot of the Twitter questions coming in talking about, yes, we've got all these social grants, but are we actually going to see them being paid when it comes to the first?
Let me also place on the public record that the Treasury Director General was approached, I think early December, by the Department of Social Development. There's a technical team involving SASSA, the Social Development Department, Treasury, the Reserve Bank, maybe one or two others as well, that did some work during that period, came up with about 3 or 4 options. Those options were then referred to the Minister of Social Development. It's her executive responsibility to ensure that she applies her mind to those possible options and chooses that which is consistent with the Constitutional Court judgment on the one hand, and the requirements of delivering grants on the 1st of April on the other hand.
All right. Okay, let's move to the floor once again, get some more questions coming in. We're also going to talk about the banking issues in a short while as well. We're just waiting for Cas Cavadia. As soon as he comes back into the room, I know that he'll engage in the conversation with us. I think he just stepped out for a little bit. But I have got, we have got somebody there ready for a question. A very good morning to you, ma'am. Please introduce yourself and tell us the question.
Good morning. My name is Driska. Thank you, Minister. My question or comment is around VAT. Now, I know that this is a sensitive issue, but many international and local economists and analysts were hoping for a VAT increase of at least 1%. Was this considered, and why was the VAT hike not, or why was the VAT increase not put up yesterday?
Yeah, it was considered.
Okay, good. That's good
But
to know.
VAT is a regressive tax, meaning that it actually has a greater negative impact upon poor people. Secondly, VAT has also been considered by the Davis tax panel that we had set up, 2014 or 2013, under Judge Davis, to look at all of our taxes and see what's appropriate in the current environment. And we've also asked him to look at the tax administration, because the last review of the tax administration took place under the Katz Commission way back in 1994. Thirdly, we must start having a conversation about VAT. It's a sensitive matter because of its potential impact on poor people, but it's on the table. So let's start talking. If you're saying increase by 1% or 2%, if we're saying we're going to protect the poor, what will be the zero-rated items? What will be the exemptions? Some would argue let's have a dual VAT rate Administrators will argue that's a difficult proposition to administer. Others will say it's not so difficult. There are countries around us who are doing that. In other words, you have, say, a 20% rate on luxury items, however you define them, and the current rate or a slightly higher rate on other consumables. So those are all the factors that need to be considered. And I think it's important that any increase in VAT is not just sprung as a surprise, but is part of a social process. So that if in the next year we can get some agreement in this area, we'll move.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for addressing that as well. I think it was a very important one, and many people, some were expecting an increase, but others saying, no, that's not going to happen. One thing I think people were very, very happy about, even though to find a home for, I suppose, 900,000 is still very difficult in this time, but that increase, it was a big increase and a help that transfer duties within houses that are bought now under 900,000, they will not be able to, or they don't have to pay those transfer duties.
Yeah, and that's an acknowledgement that people at the lower income level struggle around those sorts of issues.
Yeah.
And taking it from 750 to 900 is going to be of assistance to them as well. So again, if there's space within your fiscal system, different forms of assistance can be given to the lower income categories in our society, and it should be given.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, sir, let's get your question.
Foreign Minister, my name is Frank Fredericks. My comment and question relates to the announcement that you made and reference to the national supplier database. There are a few problems with that in accessing and getting yourself registered in that area. So it does require from Treasury side a little bit of attention. A lot of suppliers cannot access or meaningfully complete that process of registering on the central supplier database. Related to that, all these government institutions or organizations like the CETAs, uniformity in terms of the central supplier database, so that each CETA has got a different set of rules of applying for tenders or for getting discretionary or mandatory grants. So that requires a bit of, synchronization. Then, related to your preference procurement framework, the announcement of your 30% participation for projects related to 30 million and above. That threshold, we believe, is too low. It's too low. And particularly in terms of broad-based black economic empowerment, where 100% black-owned companies now also have to do that. And yet the former corporates, the white corporates, they don't really, for them it's a drop in the ocean then. Also, then linked to that is CSI, corporate social investment, if that could be considered and linked to some of these procurement, because most of these companies, they don't plow back to address social issues which could alleviate some of the Treasury challenges in addressing everything, particularly related to the young girls and the sanitary towel issue. CSI could address some of that challenges also in a meaningful way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. So many of those are suggestions and feedback. Thanks for the feedback. There's Mr. Human sitting here. I'm going to introduce you to him. There's no fees involved. But have a chat after 9 o'clock and let's see how we can respond to some of the concerns that you've raised. But thank you for raising them.
Minister, one of the other, I'm monitoring Twitter at the same time, just trying to find out if there are any questions that are not being addressed here in the rooms, and I promise you we're going to get to you now, to the learners that are asking questions. But there's one question that's come through here that's jumped out at me, and that's, what aspects of the speech will accelerate land reform in keeping with the State of the Nation address promises? Is that of importance to you?
No, it's of importance to the country because the maldistribution of land is very much part of our colonial and apartheid history and the 1913 Land Act and so on. At the moment, there's enough money in the system to do what is necessary. The President has just referred the, I think, expropriation bill back to Parliament, so that matter of legislation needs to be resolved. And we need to see what are the obstacles currently. One of the big challenges is that many instances where land is given back or distributed to people, that land which was formerly used in a very appropriate way for agricultural production suddenly finds itself depleted of any productivity at all. So the support systems in our government for people to utilize that land for the right purposes is not working as effectively as it should. So it's our colleagues in agriculture and rural development and land reform that are applying their minds to that issue and creating, let's call it an organizational infrastructure that would help people to utilize those facilities.
All right. Last break here on the program. When we return, one of our learners is standing by with her book. She hasn't moved. She's been in that position, I think, for about an hour now. And obviously, we're going to get that question to the Minister. And I think education, again, coming under the spotlight. Do stay tuned. You don't want to go anywhere.